That was the game that I was trying to figure out.
Holy stale conversation, man. That was like freaking 10 minutes ago. Were you sitting there scrolling on your phone trying to find
I know, but
At least-
God damn it. No,
At least
I
he
had
didn't
to
leave. At least he didn't leave. And then 10 minutes later, he comes back and says, "Hey, do you guys like Will Ferrell movies?"
Well, I'm sure that's coming on.
Well, I had to fucking re-download my Steam.
How about that Waterboy movie?
Hey, does Will Ferrell play the same character in every movie?
And he comes back time after time. Hey, this episode of the Jeep Talk Show is brought to you by Windshield Defense. You know, adventure doesn't wait for a cracked windshield. Windshield Defense by Racing Optics is like a screen protector for your phone. Triple layer, race tested, and installs in just 20 minutes. Save 20% with code JTS20 at windshieldefense.com. The clear choice. This is Tony, and this is the Jeep Talk Show Roundtable episode. Hello, Zoom people.
Yellow.
Howdy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. So tonight we're going to be talking about something, and this may be like, oh, God, why are we talking about this? But it hit me the other day. I bet you, and you know, we like to cater to the newbies here on the show, encourage the newbies to get involved. But I don't know if people know what an RTI ramp is, and if they've seen one and they think to themselves, why the hell? This is like tire stacking. Why the hell would I do that? And then they may hear there's a score. And how do you get a score? How does it all work? I mean, can I just drive up on the RTI ramp and flop the Jeep over? What kind of score do I get for that? You know? So I figured we'd talk about RTI ramps tonight.
Is that like Nick Card?
Is it RTI ramp or what? What's the thing that Motobilt has? With
RTI stands for
That's a CTI.
CTI, okay.
I thought it was rectangular triangular index.
Hey, did I call it the wrong thing? That would be cool too. There's people screaming at the video and the audio right now. You're calling it wrong, Tony, right. You dumbass.
John's right.
It's ramp travel index. So when you say RTI ramp, it's like saying Nick card for those of you in the IT industry, right? Ramp is nice. in the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Metal Cloak's got a real nice one that they travel.
Yeah, but there's a CTI. It's a corner. Yeah. Something, I don't know.
It's a little more extreme.
Well, it lifts up the front and the rear at the same time. So it gives opposite.
So that's those little trailer things I've seen pictures of, right?
Yeah. So RTI, you have to drive up on the CTI. Technically,
you got to drive up on that.
But then the trailer lifts opposite wheels to give you your test.
The RTI ramp, you drive up and put yourself at an angle, whereas the CTI or whatever, that one, you drive up on it flat, and then it puts you at an angle with hydraulics.
RTI, you could take a 6-inch piece of C-purlin and stick against a tree and make your own.
You can drive up on top of a curb bumper and pretty much be on an RTI ramp, right?
Do some tire stacking is the same thing as an RTI.
Yeah, right.
It is. But, I mean, like I said, like if you got a solid tree and a good long piece of C-purlin you could stuff into it, like you could make your own RTI ramp.
All right, so we know it's about articulation, but what are we actually doing when we do that for the folks that actually do that?
So this past weekend, the last few weekends, we've been building an RTI ramp. We built the ramp to test the articulation. My buddy John, his wheel speed sensors on his JK. He's got a JK, and you know he's got a long arm coming in, but right now he's got a mid arm. He's got a 4.5-inch lift, and he was pulling the sensor. He was going to pull them out, yank them out. He's like, he wants to get rid of them, but you know, so we test your lines. You're testing your articulation. So when you're off road, you're able to see, you know, am I going to rip a line out? Am I going to tear my brake lines? Am I going to, you know, what issues are going to cause? And you're in a, you know, close situation. You know, we go to events, and they're at all the events we go to. And at all the events, we also want to compete. We want to do better than everybody. And my buddy John successfully does. He'll have, you know, $100,000 rigs, and he beats everybody. And it's impressive. So now me and John and Brian, the guy that beats everybody, have built one, so we can just test and see what improvements we need to do. Hey, remove a bump stop to get a little more height. Check your lines. You're going to test everything, and you can see what you've done.
Is there?
I think of RTI as like a Jeep's version of a dyno runoff, right? So
pretty much.
Hot rods and dragsters are all trying to compare their dyno numbers for horsepower and torque. We're like, we compare articulation numbers through RTI, CTI, stuff like that.
Well, and is there a standard? Is there a standard like measurement, or is there a specific? Is there a golden rule for hey, your RTI's got to be at this angle, this measurement, and here's how you get a score, blah, blah, blah.
I think the solid scores are typically above like 700 or so for the four-door JKs. Like, that really, really tricked out rigs to be well above 1,000 and everything else. But I mean, if you're hitting 700 on a JK, that's pretty good.
Right. If you don't know what that means, though, what is a 700?
Exactly.
1,000.
Feet up the ramp. So you're going to go feet up the ramp. You're going to have your wheelbase length. You're going to have feet up the ramp, and then the angle of the ramp. Like, we built a 25-degree angle ramp, which is
got some input.
We built a 25-degree angle ramp, so it has more articulation quicker. The weekend before, we were actually, on Saturday, I went to an event and they had a 20-degree ramp at 10 feet, and my buddy Brian got to the end of it. It's all articulation angle of the ramp. It is the wheelbase of your Jeep, and there's one other factor. I use there's a program, Metal Cloak actually has it. You can download it or go to their website.
I Googled it, Travis. Travis.
It's all about the angle, the dangle, and the swing of the thing.
So would you say
distance divided by wheelbase times 1,000?
So would you say an RTI ramp allows people to see what the maximum articulation they can get, which would be important to know how well you can crawl up and over an obstacle, rocks or a shelf or whatever. So it gives you an idea without actually going out there and trying it off-road. It gives you an idea of, and also too, it gives you kudos from everybody else looking at you, being jealous of your build, which is another part of it that everybody enjoys, I'm sure.
Actually, I think of it as a different use case. Like, for me, it's where am I going to have clearance issues?
That's another good thing. Yeah.
So being able to flex it out and see, okay, hold on, my brake lines are overextended on this side, or I'm rubbing, into my track bar here, and running into the bottom of my radiator because it's flexing too much or whatever. So when you add a flex, it really helps you
like that big rock that you backed up on at Hidden Falls and bent something.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you don't have an RTI ramp, that's your other option, right? Go out to the trailer somewhere and find something to climb on.
I think it's a good fenders. I think it's a good test to see like what differences you made when you do something.
Yeah.
But it's not a can I do this test. So if you changed your, if you went to adjustable control arms, or you went from a mid arm to a long arm, or a short arm to a long arm, you can see your differences. But it's not that rock over there looks this big. If I can go up this ramp, I can go up that rock deal. Because the angles are still going to be different.
They don't have a 700 stamped on the rock, so I know if I can make it or not.
Well, Greg was pacing back and forth. I think he had something he was going to add. He looked like he was waiting patiently. Come on, yeah, you do. Come on.
I'm just listening.
He's writing people's names down, calling the police.
He's running his head into the wall.
I think I know what Greg's opinion is going to be, because when I Googled RTI ramp, one of the first things that popped up was an entire article by AEV talking about how crappy it was to measure RTI and pointless.
And probably a place that you can buy a bunch of ducks.
Well, you can see the photo that I've got in my background now. That's my bumper my bumper and fender just getting eaten alive by my rear tire. And I know now I need to, either trim up. I've got to trim out the rear end, the asset end of my Jeep, because I cannot, and I learned that from the RTI ramp. Otherwise, I would have not known. I would have been off-road. Go ahead, Greg.
Yep. So ramp travel index, or RTI, and the score associated with it, or even the CTI ramp that Metal Cloak has that Corey runs, they are phenomenal tools for addressing the flexibility of your Jeep, right? Addressing how things work. So if you build an RTI ramp, hold on.
Oh, I think you got a phone call.
What a guy. Middle of a statement, and he goes and takes a phone
Sorry
call.
about that. Are you there?
Yeah, we're good.
Yep.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, I got to go tuck Lehman. But the best use of an RTI ramp, it's the bigger the score. You know, if you do the math and you do the score, it means nothing. It really doesn't. 15, 20 years ago, everybody was trying to get the highest score and the most flexible Jeep. And I mean, there's ones that the axle would be completely vertical. In real world situations, that doesn't help you off road. I mean, you look at these guys with their 1200 score on the CTI ramp, and it seems pretty amazing, but then you watch a bone stock Willys drive circles around them. So with, 3.5 inches of suspension travel. The best thing in the world is having your tires planted to the ground. The more tires that you have on the ground, the more traction you have, blah, blah, blah. So an RTI ramp, and the best use of them is to use it like a tool, like you use any other tool. And just like Travis said, or a couple other people have said, you drive up on it and do every tire, right? Do driver front, then passenger front, and then driver rear, and then passenger rear. And make sure that your bump stops are set right so that your tire's not eating your fender. Make sure that your brake lines are good. Make sure you're not losing springs, right? If you have so much flexibility, you could be losing springs. And then you might need to put limit straps on it. So it's true use as a tool to make sure that your rig is set up properly. But if your rig is so flexible that you can pull those obnoxious numbers, the downfall is it probably handles like shit. It probably doesn't drive down the road very well. So, having a certain amount of flexibility is wonderful because it gives us a little bit more options and it makes the off-roading a little bit more smooth versus that Willys, which drives circles around you anyway, and drives like a tank. But use it as a tool. Don't worry about the numbers. In the grand scheme of things, the numbers don't matter, right? If you have an obnoxiously big number, yeah, but they're dumb. They don't.
They come with a duck.
And people that like them are dumb, is what Greg is saying. I think I'll just fill that in.
I mean, that's the reason why we built one, is to be used as a tool. But that being said, it's still fun to beat those $1 million Jeeps when, I've got a bunch of redneck engineers and we're out doing them.
Right, but the problem is if you beat that $1 million Jeep, he might have some phenomenal engineering in his suspension and everything else, and he can ride that Jeep at 100 miles an hour and still have that same flexibility. Where if you're doing 25, you're ripping shit apart. So the number doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't. The most important thing is that you have complete clearance. Everything functions. You have no binding. You're not tweaking drive shafts. You're not ripping brake lines. You're not, bottoming shocks out in either direction. Because that's one thing that most people always fuck up on, is they have all this droop, but the limiting factor is the shock, which means, oh, great, you're just destroying your shock every time you flex out that much. So it's a tool to set up your rig as good as you can with the components you have. But in the grand scheme of things, if it's just you and your buddies, yeah, having the higher number is cool as long as your rig can do everything it's supposed to. But having that super high number in the real world doesn't mean shit.
Well, I 100% agree with that. Just at the same time, like, I know I have 0 bump stops, and either I'm going to put them in or I'm going to cut fenders. That's 100% the point. I've got to test out my Jeep because I don't want to destroy it. Like, I didn't just buy this brand new Jeep.
Use it as a tool, but don't use it as a tool to make sure that you have all the clearance and everything you need. But don't, in the grand scheme of things, the number doesn't matter. It's all that your Jeep can perform to its best ability without damaging itself.
That 100% agree.
So it sounds like to
the
me,
RTI thing was a huge thing 15 and 20 years ago. Everybody wanted these monster numbers. The problem is people were getting monster numbers, and you really couldn't go faster than 5 or 10 miles an hour because it was going to tip over or, become unmanageable while driving it down the road. So yeah, having those $1 million rigs, they might have just a giant score, but they also have all the other components to make it be able to handle at speed, on and off road, and other things. So it's a difference, right? If you've got a higher score than $1 million rig, good for you, but you might not be able to use your vehicle in the real world.
So it sounds like to me, because we were asking this question based on the newbies out there, and a lot of people don't know what an RTI ramp is. So it's like, what's the point? I mean, they may have seen pictures and stuff. So I think this is great. So newbies, if you're driving a stock Jeep, sure, you can get on an RTI ramp, but I don't think it's going to be as beneficial to you as a tool, because what these guys are talking about is as you make modifications, lift, bump stops, straps, things that we haven't covered here before. This is a good way to see if you need to add more stuff, take away stuff, or cut stuff. Does that sound like a good summary to you guys?
Yeah.
100%.
So is the 700, is that how many ducks are lined up in a row?
That's a great idea.
That's how many ducks that Rick needs to forage across the river.
So they put ducks there, and that's how many ducks. How many ducks can you crush on the RTI ramp?
I've got a 734 on my last run, just so y'all know.
Was that the YJ?
734. No. That was this past weekend in the 4XE. But I've got a question I want to ask Greg real quick.
Doesn't a stock Rubicon pull like a 690?
It's 633, I believe, because I did run my stock up to see where it was, and it was now granted I went from a 20-degree ramp to a 25. The stock Rubicon, I believe, hit 633, and I was going to ask, where does the angle matter? Because like most of the ones that I see are more of a 40-degree angle.
They seem pretty sharp.
40 would be straight up.
It's just how fast you get to a high point.
90 would be straight up.
90 would be straight up. 45 would be a traditional angle. Most people do them in a 35 to a 40-degree angle.
Everything I've ever been on has been 20 for the most part. 25.
Well, it's preparing you for the curb at the mall.
That's the one for the Jeep Patriot, I think.
Before we get off track, hey Greg, I'm running 0 sway bars on the rear. Well,
that's not smart.
I have 0 issues driving it.
It helps them over the 20-degree ramp.
Well, you got 0 issues driving it until little Susie kicks her ball out in the road and you go to avoid it and you end up flipping over.
That's the valid point, and I understand that. It's only going to be the swaying jerking, which I typically don't. I'm a slow driver. I drive like grandma down the road, which is perfect.
I'm going to pause for a minute. I'm tucking my kid in. I'll be back in 5.
All right.
Yeah, I think the bump stop overall when you're doing suspensions is often overlooked. I used to be in the camp and think, I don't want bump stop. I want as much travel as I can get. And then I backed up on that rock and almost took my grill out just because the tires flexed up so high that it got into everything.
It was rubbing on his nuts.
Yeah, it looks cool to have your tire tread getting ripped off by your fender.
I got a picture of it somewhere where you can see the tires just pumping out the grill. It's completely crushed in the inner fenders and everything else. So,
but you got a higher score.
Yeah, your tires supposed to hit your hard top.
I've got a bias set. I don't plan on running 0 bump stops forever. What I had on the 4XE does not fit on the diesel. And I was very shocked to learn that, but it's a different size rear bump stop. The front I've got in place, but the rear I do not. So I will.
It's
Travis,
a cheap way to tune.
Travis, before you start adding stuff, wait and see if you're going to total this one. And then, because you got to take all that shit off and put it back on.
Well, at least I get out and wheel and have fun. You guys
just drill a hole in a hockey puck and put that in there. It was
totaled off road.
Almost
you have a bump stop. You just don't have a
a fender could be a bump stop.
Fender.
Yeah.
Hell, the hardtop can be a bump stop when you roll over.
And six packs are definitely dramatic on their up travel, which I love.
Well, the six packs have a lot of travel for that small package that they have. But you do got to recharge them every once in a while.
Yeah,
I know.
They get a higher maintenance level.
I've talked to Metal Cloak a few times about that recharge and when is time. So
if you gotta ask when is time, that's probably already time.
So the other thing that I've noticed is sometimes when you get the little bit of extra articulation, you're like all happy about it, then you figure out that you got it because your control arm bushings were shot. There's nothing to stop it anymore when it's flexing up. So
I'm ready to pop apart.
Hey,
well, damn it, I bent something. That's why it works so good.
Exactly.
Bend it back, damn it.
Actually, I've got an issue right now. I like to go in before I go on a big long trip and just take it up the shop to get another second pair of eyes to go look it over and everything after I've done it. And they came back and said, yeah, you've got a bent rear sway bar inlet, which I knew was slightly bent, but that's the third one I've replaced. And I'm like, well, then there's something else going on, right? So I keep bending those rear driver's side sway bar inlays, and I'm not really sure, but I do know that they are the ones that installed that rear Dana 60. So I wanted them
Is it too short, too long, not big enough? Well, I mean, why would it bend?
I think it's back to the bump stops. I think it's I don't think there's a coincidence that there's a rub mark on the frame right where the top of that sway bar end link would flex into. So I think it's flexing up and then the top of it's hitting the frame and it's
gone as far as it can go. Yeah.
So I think I'm going to end up having to add more bump stop in the rear, but it's a lot of folks do overlook that though. Bump stop are such a big benefit overall to the ability to tune your suspension to work like you want it to. So
I want to get rid of the bump stops and go with hydraulics, but
that's still a bump stop. It's just
I know it's a better
bump stop. Are you trying to hit 3-wheel motion, or are you trying to? Because that's a different hydraulic.
So to me, bump stops. To me, and correct me, guys. To me, bump stops are like stacking rocks off road. If you're having to add bump stops, you're taking a shortcut. I mean, I understand bump stops are necessary, but if you're trying to do something with a bump stop to keep something from clearancing something else, should you increase the lift or
no, because sometimes like your lift gives you plenty of say droop, right? You want that axle to droop down for. We all want that droop or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But if it goes down, it can come back up in a lot of ways. That's when the other side droops down, you're going to start seeing your clearance issues. That's where the bump stop comes in. It limits that up travel. So it's not necessarily that you've got anything that you need to go fix. That's what it's there for. That's what it's supposed to do. So
adding more lift is not going to change your bump stop. I mean, you're still going to need it. Adding more lift is going to increase your droop. But
exactly.
I mean, you're still only going
to be able to go so far.
well, that picture that I had, and I'll get it back up, is my only one, the one tire up on the RTI ramp. Well, the rear where I'm having the bumper and tire go into the fender is only because I do not have bump stop there currently.
No, you have different fenders.
Well, no, I've got the fender. The fenders
in
are
that
gone.
Same thing, like depending on what kind of link suspension you have. Like if you're still on some sort of 4-link, you're not going to have the same sort of flex that you will with, like, say, a 3-link, and you're going to need a bump stop to keep stuff from angling differently and going into your fender, your grill or whatever. Versus like where a 3-link will droop out and swing, a 4-link won't, and it'll push up the other side that's not drooping.
Right. I think you think of it like, I just think of it as like a tuning shim, right? If you're gonna like set gears in a differential, you add shims to get it to get the right measurement, move it around, and get it set just right. That's kind of what you're doing with bump stop. You're trying to tune it to where you have the right amount of up travel with the maximum amount of down travel. Because that's what down travel keeps that wheel in contact with the earth, right? So That's the critical part.
And I think we can all agree that you can over bump stop something, right? And remove the articulation that you want.
Well, I think if you over bump stop it, you're also probably going to have a crappy ride down the trail in general.
Because you're going to be.
You don't want to be riding on the bump stops. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might as well take the shocks out at that point.
Right.
Hey, look,
I just want to add, there's nothing wrong with packing rocks once in a while.
Bob knows exactly how to do all that.
What? I've put 3,000 pounds in the bed of a truck. It wasn't fun.
All right. And the thing is, no matter how much clearance you have for your tires and everything else, eventually at some point you got to have a bump stop to keep your axle from hitting your frame.
Absolutely.
At some point you're going to hit the frame if no matter how much articulation you got. I mean, unless you got, a 24-inch, lift. And so, you're just not going to get anywhere close to the frame.
Row truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. With no drive shaft.
Yes.
Right.
It's a tuner. It's a tuner.
Right. It's about tuning. Like
it aids you in clearance. It aids you in clearance. I mean, and then as you upgrade, you can reduce it. I mean, you get high clearance fenders or no fenders. I mean, you can reduce it, but eventually, like Rick said, I mean, you're gonna run out of up. You're gonna hit something. You're gonna hit the frame. I mean, it's there. It's there as a clearance tool, just to make sure you're not destroying shit.
Okay, we've scared the hell out of the newbies because they want to make modifications to their Jeep and they don't know anybody with an RTI. I'm not going to say RTI ramp. They don't know anybody with an RTI. They don't know anybody. What was it? CTI. But they want to check their clearances. They're at home. They don't have the benefit of a shop like John has access to. How do they check their clearances? Do they have to build an RTI?
If you got some jack stands, just get some tall jack stands, and then take your wheels off of your axles because it allows for more droop.
Well, and you can strap an axle to your frame.
I'm talking about for down travel.
If you're taking your tires off, you can't see what they're
for
doing.
Down travel, not for up travel. To check your down travel and clearance and make sure your brake lines and stuff like that are not going to be stretched.
But you do that by taking the wheel off.
Go get yourself some 2x4s and some screws and build yourself a little ramp, and then you can do everything that a metal ramp can do. Right?
Well, like I said,
or you can just find somebody that's got a front end loader and just pick up a wheel.
Just go to Ulta, 10-foot piece of C-purlin, lean it against a tree, and drive up it.
Yep.
Go to Ulta.
I have never been on an RTI ramp ever. And I've had this Jeep off-road all over.
He's afraid of the score.
Yeah, but your off-road consists of gravel roads.
What you do is the next time when you and all your Jeep buddies are around together, you find your Jeep buddy with the 30-inch tires and you stack on him first. And then if you do good there, then you go to the one with the 33s and then you go to the one with the 35s. You just keep doing it until you can clear the 44s.
Go to any warehouse district. Go to any warehouse district at 8 o'clock at night when there's no trucks coming in and out. Find one of the loading ramps and drive up it like it's an RTI ramp.
Yeah, and take some pictures because you'll forget.
Just
Bob,
make sure it's one without a railing.
Bob, do you carry rocks with you? Do you carry the rocks with you in the TJ, or do you use ones there at the off-road site?
No, we just use the ones that are there.
Let me ask our resident expert. No offense to everybody else. Greg, is it okay to stack rocks?
Yes.
Better than tearing up the trail by
digging a big ass hole.
Do you unstack the rocks when you're done, or do you just leave them there for the next Renegade?
You leave them there for the next guy. As long as they're rocks that came from very close, you don't want to bring them from 800 yards away because now you're destroying the area.
Back to the RTI. If you're going up one or anything along that line similar, once you have a tire off the ground, that is it. The tire needs to be on the ground.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I thought that you go as far as you can go before the rear tire if you're going up forward until one of the rear tires comes off the ground, and even though you might be able to go further, that as far as the score goes, that's as far as you're supposed to go.
That as far as you go. Yes. Once that tire leaves the ground, you stop.
Yeah, don't go so far that all 4 tires are off the ground.
Well, the same tire on the same like passenger or driver side that you're following, or same axle tire. Because I've seen rear tires, like if you're going forward up a ramp, seen the rear tires stay planted, but the passenger, say if you're going up driver's side, the passenger tire
comes off
on the front come off. That is also the same. So you want all 4 tires on some sort of.
Hey Jeepers, Tony here from the Jeep Talk Show. You know what I love about our community? We don't accept limits. Can't get there? We'll make a way. Trails too rough? We'll conquer it anyway. But a busted windshield, that's one limit we don't have to accept. Windshield defense by Racing Optics is for the limitless, triple-layered protection that's been proven in the most demanding conditions. Whether you're rock crawling in Moab or mudding in the backwoods, this stuff has your back. And when your windshield inevitably takes a hit, because let's face it, we don't exactly take the easy route. It's just peel off the outer layer and keep pushing forward. No stopping, no compromising, no limits. Your Jeep was built to break boundaries. Now your windshield can too. Use code JTS20 at windshieldefense.com for 20% off and free shipping. That's windshieldefense.com, because limits are for other people. Windshield Defense, the clear choice.
They would need to have some sort of minor weight on them.
Now, is this a locker, no locker situation?
I don't run lockers. I'm for low, but I'm not lockers.
But I mean, if you're doing for the score, do you have to have lockers? Or can you use lockers if you have them, or is that a no-no for the score?
If you're doing it for the score, you can use lockers all you want.
Okay.
Yeah,
because you're going to go further with lockers than without.
How fast can you go to get up on the ramp? I mean, I'm thinking a good 25 miles an hour, and then it gets you further up the ramp.
Just
the good old James Bond slip. If you land back on your tires, you win.
Yeah, I mean, you get on the 2 tires and you drive it around like on James Bond type thing.
So, just out of curiosity, how did the lockers make you go further, Greg? I mean, I don't know. I'm serious.
So if you have, I can answer this with my Jeep, because we tried it on a tree, because we have a tree that slants we test stuff on, and we went to drive my Jeep on it, and I don't have a rear locker, and it will go up at about 3 feet, and that's as far as it goes, because it starts lifting the other rear tire.
Oh, so you're losing traction on the other tire, and then I get it.
Yeah, and so the open diff starts sending power to the other tire.
I got you now. I guess I understand that. I just, at first, I wasn't sure what they would do, but now I understand.
Isn't it the same situation for the front, though? Because, I mean,
if you're backing up it, yes.
I need to look at a picture, because the RTI is only for one side, right?
Yeah, right, but once when you flex it that far, you're going to get both front and rear differential is going to spin a tire, right? So the tire with the most traction is going to have the least amount of torque with an open differential. So the further you drive up it, the more you're lessening the torque load on the side without all the weight on it.
Yeah, I just figured that the passenger tire, like all the pictures I see with the RTI, is that the passenger tire is dangling over there, in midair, and to me, that's the one that should be spinning. And I'm thinking if you got lockers, now you're going to get further up the ramp, because the driver's side tire wheel that's on the ramp is going to maintain traction, maintain power. Rather,
well, that's back to that score. Once something loses the ground, the score's over.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I guess I'm not. Yeah, I need to look at an RTI thing and actually watch it. Yeah.
If you and every time I go up a ramp, I pull a tire off the ground, and I have to back down till it is touching the ground before it is scored.
Okay, so it's not the. I'm sorry. So the passenger tire isn't dangling in the air. All tires have to be touching something. Is what you're saying.
You have to have 4 points of contact.
Okay.
Right. And sometimes if you have a shorter wheelbase, it may be the same tire that's on the same side as the ramp.
Yeah. The JKs, the JLs, definitely, they have further to travel. Like, they'll appear to be shorter, but they get a higher score. So my buddy, I definitely traveled farther up the ramp than he did, but he scored higher because of his wheelbase. base length.
Well, but I mean, the score is divided by wheelbase, so that's already taken into account, right? So it should be about the same score.
He was
maybe his Jeep is just better than yours.
Well, he's got a 4.5 inch lift.
That's why.
He's definitely got more than I do. I mean, this is my buddy that I follow. Like, I've got to follow him on every trip.
Do you guys River Pirate 4x4 for him? That's what we got going on here. So I bet you Greg knows this. What is I'm sure it depends, but what is a score for a Willis? Has anybody seen a Willis on an RTI? Is the score really bad?
Oh, it's abysmal. I don't know what it is, but it's not very good.
What typically scores better, leaf springs or coils? Because I've seen some crazy scores come out of leaf spring rigs.
Yeah, well, it's all on how it's set up. So leaf springs can do amazingly well as long as they're set up properly. You can get just disgusting amounts of flex on a leaf spring. So, but coil springs are easier. In the modern world, coil springs are easier to do the math on, right? So you figure out the weight of a vehicle, you know exactly what spring rate you need and how much twist you need to get the appropriate thing. And they package in a very tight area. That's why so many things use coil springs now. But leaf springs is a tried and true technology that's lasted for well over 100 years.
Yeah, leaf springs are great. They're not necessarily comfortable to ride on, but we're not talking about comfort here. Greg, your camera's off. You can make in case you don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm all the way at the other end of the room.
All right.
So you can make. I mean, think of a 60s or 70s Cadillac, right? They floated down the road. Leaf springs.
Oh, really?
So
I guess so. That makes sense.
Yeah, you can make a leaf spring vehicle handle just as good as a coil spring.
This depends on how many leaves you got.
Well, no, I mean, same thing. You can have 20 leaves and still ride like a Cadillac.
Oh, really? That's interesting. I guess it depends on
the spring.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so every spring is a different rate, but they have leaf springs that are, I don't know, less than a 1/16 of an inch thick each leaf. So, and then they have ones that are a 1/2 inch thick each leaf. So there's a multitude of variations, but you can make a leaf spring flex great. You can make it ride and handle great. You can do all the things. So it's just it takes more effort, and the packaging is nowhere near as good because with a leaf spring, it's long, but it also gets rid of other things. You don't have to have track bar with leaf springs, where you have to have it with, coils or with control arms. So unless you do triangulated, which then that's a whole nother mess, right? There's so many different things. But as far as RTI, you can make a leaf spring do just as well as a coil spring or a coil over. Doesn't matter your spring, just get a comfortable score. But yeah, a Willys has a very, very, my guess would be a very weak score. Now they're an 80-inch wheelbase, so they're a very short wheelbase. But literally those, each corner only moves a few inches, right? They only go a few inches up and they only go a few inches down. So they were never engineered for ramp travel index. They were engineered to just fucking work.
Right. All right. Let
me
work.
You can drive an 80-year-old Jeep and drive circles around a new Jeep if you know how you're driving.
It's so much fun seeing them out there at Moab. Yeah, so much fun seeing them out there at Moab, especially in a group. All right, I want to change gears here real quick, guys. We can get back to it here in a second, but so the Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion is starting this week, I believe. Maybe not officially, but I think a lot of people are already going there. Greg, are you going to be at the Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion, and are you going to have the JK door pockets there?
Yes and yes.
Good. I didn't expect that.
So I leave tomorrow morning because Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week. So tomorrow morning I will drive downstate and pick up the JK door pockets. They were actually manufactured today. So I was down there from, 9 this morning until 2:00 in the afternoon, getting all of the pre-production push out to figure out, the best way to run them. When I left, they were starting to run them. They ran, I want to say they were supposed to do 250 sets today. So I will have JK door pockets at Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion. It'll be the first place anybody's ever seen them. Anybody's more than welcome to come pick them up. In fact, it's the first and only place you can buy them because they're not even on our website yet.
How much are they?
Won't be on $150, same as the JL. We're setting with the exact same price. However, at Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion, we haven't set the exact discount price we're going to sell them at, but my guess is it'll be 15 or 20% off on site.
Mm-hmm.
And I might even I'll probably go like either 15 or 20% off for credit card sales, but if people pay cash, I'll make it even a steeper discount.
So are you going to take one of those paint pens so you can autograph the door pocket if somebody requests it?
If somebody requested it, I would do that, but I highly doubt anybody will request it.
Oh, I think you'll be surprised. So will you have any JT JL door pockets?
Yeah, we'll have JL door pockets, JK door pockets. We'll also have the twisted molly lock cup holders. And that's probably all I'm going to bring because I can't fit much more.
Yeah, and the cup holders are very important for the JK because there's no cup holders on the JK door pockets. So if you want a cup holder, you'll need to get one of those really nice little trash can looking things for your, and they're Molly, so it's not just for the JK door pockets. It's anything Molly.
Well, it's not anything Molly. In fact, so I went down to, and it wasn't that long ago, but I went down to JCR, which is in, very close to Kalamazoo, Michigan. And I tested it on their Molly, and it fits some of their Molly, but not all of their Molly.
Oh, that's real. That's interesting. It's military, so I figured it was standard.
Well, it is standard, but some companies never knew it was standard and never adjusted. So what they do is they have the overall thought process of what it is, but they don't follow the standard. So they make sure that their squares fit their pattern instead of making sure the squares are the actual standardized size. So it was funny, like they had a Toyota in the parking lot that had a bunch of Molly on its roof rack and it didn't fit any of it. But then they had a Gladiator right next to it that also had Molly on its roof rack, and the twisted Molly lock fit it flawlessly. And they had an XJ that it fit it flawlessly, but they had a JL, which had some interior pieces, which it didn't fit at all. So it fits some and it fits others, but it all depends on the manufacturer, because if the manufacturer doesn't follow the standardized sizing, they just, do it because it's cool and you can put straps in it.
Have to ask them if they know what standards are. So, and not necessarily JCR, they're good folks over there. So do you know where you're going to be located? You know where you're going to be located at Great Smoky?
We are going to be located outside. We are not inside the building. And all people have to do is there's going to be Derek and his wonderful wife, Nicole, will be there with her two-door JL, which has the YJL grill, and it will be in the booth. And I ordered a fancy tent that's got the unofficial use only logo on it. So that will be, in the booth. So people should be able to see it by that, or just look for the idiot walking around barefoot in a kilt. And that's me.
Take your flag, take your unofficial use only flag.
I don't have a flag pole.
No, just put it up. Just hang it, if you can hang it on something, on the side of something. I mean, you do what you want to do. But I was thinking you could make use of that flag. All right, well, good. So, and this isn't your first time to Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion, right?
No, I haven't been in a few years. The last time I was there, we were filming a TV show for Motor Trend, which never aired because of COVID. So the last time I was there, I believe, was in 19 or 20. And I went 2 or 3 times before that. Mm-hmm. But it's a wonderful show. It's probably one of the biggest shows this side of the Mississippi. And for anybody listening, if anybody listens to this and actually is contemplating going to Great Smoky Mountain, definitely go. It is a seller's show. or in the industry, it's known as a seller show, which means everybody that goes brings parts to sell, and they typically offer a discount.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the Jeepers who want to save a couple dollars, it's definitely worth going because it's such a big show and there's so many parts from so many manufacturers, and you can probably get a pretty good deal.
Yeah, and if you guys are not going to Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion, you're not going to be able to visit. You're not going to be able to visit with Greg or buy a JK door pocket. You can always go to unofficialuseonly.com and look and see and buy and smell and do everything else there because it's the internet. Damn it! All right, so let's get back to the RTI. I'm so glad your dog has recovered, Travis.
He's good, and he's looking forward to meeting Greg because I'm going to take him out Saturday to the event. Because I'm going to do the interior of the event because dogs are not allowed inside the LeConte Center. So I'm going to go Friday, do the interior, and Saturday I'll still see Greg on Friday, but Saturday I'm going to be 100% outdoor. I'm going to hit the CTI ramp so I can try to score better than I did in the 4XE. Because that impresses me. Like, I want to outscore myself. I want to see the improvements I've done. So I'm going to hit that ramp.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with getting a score if that is important to you. Oh, and I think I'll add, and you guys correct me. I think that the score that you get on an RTI or CTI, I don't think it should give you confidence. I mean, if it's giving you confidence that the parts are all clearing each other, I think that's good confidence. But as far as, well, if I can do this score here, then I'll be a beast off-road. I think it has a lot to do with who you are and how you drive the Jeep. So
and how well your spotter guides you through different things.
Right.
I've learned that the hard way. Oh, my spotter's good. I was actually not following him. I was leading, and that was my mistake. I'm not a leader.
I think everybody. I don't think anybody else here is going to Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion other than the Travis.
Nikki G will be there.
Okay, but is anybody here also going to Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion?
I thought I might get to go, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get to go.
All right, no problem. So for our listeners that are going to Great Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion. I don't have a confirmation on Chris yet, but he was about 90% that he was going to be there. So Chris may be there, and he'll have the Jeep Talk Show stickers with him. April, who is our co-host.
I will also bring some Jeep Talk Show stickers with me.
Oh, thank you. I was going to ask that, but I didn't want to load you up.
Do you know what you need to do is you need to get one of these. Hold on. Let me turn my camera on. Where the hell is it? Yeah. It's over here. What you need to do is you need to get one of these for some of us. Like, send me one of these. You can order them on. Where the fuck is it? God damn it.
So April will be there. April will be there. She is our Wednesday co-host for the Flagship 2 episode. And
she'll be with Midland Radio.
Natalie. Yeah. She'll be at the Midland Radio. Thank you. And Natalie will be there with High Lift Off-Road. I'm not sure what booth they're going to be in. I looked up High Lift Off-Road and the vendor list, and I didn't see it.
So High Lift is inside the building, and they are tied with the JPP, the Jeep Performance Parts
That
booth.
Makes sense, yeah.
So that's where they'll be. But I was trying to show it, but I can't find it. So what you need to do is you need to order a couple of these. You can get them on Amazon or other places. But what it is, it's one of those ink stamps.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so chunk ink stamp, and I have a couple of them. I just can't find it. But this displays the unofficial use only logo, like what's on my shirt. So you get a couple of Jeep Talk Show ones, and then when people walk by, I can just stamp them on the forehead.
It needs to be reversed so it'll look right in a rearview mirror. I'll have to look into that. That's pretty cool.
Greg, I hope you bring a little.
Yeah, now I need to really find mine. Oh, here it is.
I will bring a Hot Wheels YJ with you.
I'll bring your Hot Wheels YJ. So yeah, so this is it, right? So it's got the unofficial use only logo, and it's just an ink stamp, right? So when you stamp it, it spins around.
Is that what you put on the boxes?
Well, that's why I bought this. I bought this for the twisted Molly lock boxes because it was small, but I don't know, I didn't like the way that it worked, so it's not actually used. So
yeah, you're recommending it to me. Thank you.
No, so on the cardboard, it works on the really small box when it's still flat, but as soon as you turn it into a box, when you stamp it, the box deforms, so it doesn't give you a perfect. So I didn't like it that way, but it works pretty well for other things.
All right,
and they're really cheap, right? On Amazon, I think that cost me like $18.
Oh, that is cheap. That's amazing, actually. All right. So anybody else? Anybody got any RTI horror stories? I remember the ones, I'm sure you guys do, where I think it was a TJ that was rolling up and the guy got out. No, maybe it was a Humvee. The guy gets out and pushes it and flips the vehicle over because it was teetering.
That's happened to lots and lots of vehicles. But yeah, Humvees have done it. I've seen that video. I've seen a TJ do it. The worst I ever saw, a guy built this. They did a really good job, and they turned it into a ramp champ. In fact, that's what we used to call them, because the guys that were really good at the RTI score, we just called them a ramp champ, because they couldn't drive off-road, but they could really do well on the ramp. But he drove up the ramp. It was amazing. It looked really cool. He maxed out the ramp, so he got all the way to the top of it, but he went just a little too far, and his front tire dropped down.
Oh, no.
And the RTI ramp actually caved the body in because it hit right behind the front tire. It bent his fire, and it was a JK. It not only destroyed his fender, but it bent his firewall. It broke his windshield. His driver door would not open or close, right? Like totaled his Jeep because he wanted to be a ramp champ.
Well, it's also,
Travis.
like, I've got my buddies Squatchy and TJ. No, Squatchy and I was about to say Squatchy and TJ, but Squatchy and Zach Crisco, Zach's got a YJ, and he can drive up the back side of the ramp or clear over the front side. So their ramp previously was built at 20 degrees, and it had, an 80 degree down, and he could drive up the 80 degree and or over the 20 and just completely drive over the ramp. That is a beast off-road, and all I do is see him recover, help people off-road. But he's got a shop that's dedicated to building and doing, and that's Squatchy Off-Road. I was going to say, Greg, if you're in town tomorrow, they've got a ride tomorrow morning giving back for the Helene victims last year. But they build phenomenal Jeep. Now, granted, they tow them. They're off-road rigs, but they'll just walk over a ramp, literally walk over a ramp, and it just blows my mind.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. It doesn't mean that the Zoom meeting, the roundtable, is over. It just means we're going to stop the record button, or at least that's what people think. So just want to remind you guys, you can join us. It's every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. I call that the pre-party. You can join 8 p.m. Central Time. It's whenever the show starts. You can be late. You don't have to be there on time, but I think you should be there as much as you can be. And of course, you can stick after the show is done recording and be there and just have fun. Everybody unbuttons their pants as soon as we stop recording. There's no shots from below the waist, so I don't know why, but they do, and that's fine. They get comfortable and have a good time. That's a wrap for this week's Jeep Talk Show Roundtable. A big thank you to our Zoom participants. You guys make this so much fun and informative every week, and of course, a shout out to everyone else that's watching us here on the YouTube. What is it? Like, share, and subscribe. We actually like comments too. So please feel free to comment. You can find us on Rumble as well, because you never can tell when YouTube might cancel us. So we're putting up on YouTube and Rumble just on the outside chance it happens again. I don't know that everybody knows this. We don't really advertise it that much, but Thursday night we do a unofficial, I'm stealing it from Greg, an unofficial roundtable. It's Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. There is no show starting at 8 p.m. It's just you guys getting in here in the Zoom room and having a chat. So it's the same thing as here, except maybe worse, more entertaining, but worse as far as the subjects and the teasing that goes on. So time, you can get more time for the Jeep Talk Show random questions, and always a few rabbit trails. We love those here. Don't forget to visit jeeptalkshow.com/contact to find out how you can be part of the conversation. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.
Broadcasting since 2010.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.
Oh, let me ask you guys something before we get started here. I think we have a lot of fun talking about movies. I know that we talk about Jeeps and movies. I was thinking about we do a segment, and movies is definitely not Jeep related, but it actually gets some traction outside of the main show when we if we're done and we're talking about the movies like on live. People they comment and they get in there because they want to say, oh, that's what you were trying to think of and stuff. What are you guys thinking about? Maybe not every episode, but maybe every once in a while we talk about movies here on the roundtable.
Well, what about just doing Jeep movies?
Well, I think we'd run out pretty quick.
Well, are we talking like new releases, or are we going to go back?
Fuck that. We're talking about Will Ferrell grown-ups with Mark Wahlberg. Quintessential awesome comedy.
Oh, God, that was amazing. And the second one was amazing. I just couldn't believe that. John Lithgow kissing his dad on the lips. It was just, oh, God. Will Ferrell kissing John Lithgow on the lips. That was, oh, my God. Uncomfortable. Funny.
That was Daddy's Home. I was thinking the other guys with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. See, this is what I'm talking about, where we just talk about whatever movies we want to talk about. So,
and I'm not a fan.
Well, you're not like my wife. You're like, I'm not a Will Ferrell fan.
Yeah, I'm not.
My wife can't stand Jim Carrey. I think he's hilarious.
I'm not a big Jim Carrey fan, but Will Ferrell is hilarious. I mean, Frank the Tank. We're going streaking. Like, if you're not first, you're last. Like,
my problem with Will Ferrell is if you take all of his movies and look at them, every character is exactly the same with a minor tweak.
All those people from Saturday Night Live, they have one character. It's really good, but they got one character. Look at Eddie Murphy.
Will Ferrell, his best movie is called Stranger Than Fiction.
That amazed me.
He's not Will Ferrell in that movie.
Right.
I don't know. What about Ron Burgundy? Because Ron Burgundy is not the same as Frank the Tank. Like, those are totally different. And definitely not the same as Step Brothers with John C. Reilly, because
the character is different. But if you look at
bullshit,
him, he's playing the same person with a tweak.
It's absolutely the same person. The only one is that was a good one, Bob, because Stranger Than Fiction? What was it? What would you just say?
Stranger Than Fiction.
Yeah, that was amazing.
He actually acts in that movie and shows a talent he does not express in any of his other movies.
See, this is what Adam Sandler should not do. He tries to do movies where he's acting. I'm not saying he's a bad actor, but they're not as good as the shit movies that he did.
I don't know. The one that he won all of his accolades for was Uncut Gems. And that definitely was an Adam Sandler comedy type role, right?
Did you guys see the space movie he was in with the spider?
He was in a space movie?
No.
Yeah.
That's it.
It was another one where Adam Sandler is acting, and give me Happy Gilmore, you know.
Waterboy is the young.
Oh God, Waterboy was fantastic.
Yep, I'll give you Waterboy.
Yeah, those were really good shows. Those were really good movies. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Day of Defeat.
Yeah.
Did you hear me, Tony?
No, what'd you say? I heard Day of Defeat. Oh, that's what the game was that you were trying to talk about.
That was the game that I was trying to figure out. Day of Defeat.
Holy stale conversation, man. That was like freaking 10 minutes ago. Were you sitting there scrolling on your phone trying to find it?
I know, but God damn it. No,
at least he didn't leave. At least he didn't leave, and then 10 minutes later, he comes back and says, "Hey, do you guys like Will Ferrell movies?"
Well, I'm sure that's coming up.
Well, I had to fucking re-download my Steam.
How about that Waterboy movie?
Hey, does Will Ferrell play the same character in every movie?
And he comes back time after time. Speaking about coming back, has anybody told Greg to get on here? Because Greg gets busy and he misses it. Roger, contact Greg.
I can send him a message.
Yeah,
I can send him a message, but I doubt he'll fucking read it.